Hello beadlings, welcome back. This is a crochet tutorial, but there are pony beads involved at the very end, so it counts. I am going to say right up top, I have only ever made one other crochet-ish tutorial, which I recently posted. You can find it on my page, but this is something that I am a bit new at. So I'm going to do my best to make this clear and easy to follow, but that does mean I might be yapping a little bit extra. For this, please forgive me. Hello, this is Bea from the editor's desk, and I have a note here. So my original cut of this video was 180 minutes long, which is really, really long for a tutorial. This version, you will notice, is not 3 hours long, and that is because on every round I will show you what I do. I will start it off, and then when I go on to finish the rest of the round, I did film those parts. I am not going to show them in this version of the tutorial. It is going to take me a lot longer to finish editing the 3 hour cut, the director's cut of this tutorial. So for right now, I am releasing this tutorial as is, with those sections shortened. And if you find that you need those sections or want those sections, as soon as that video is done and posted, I will link it here so that you can go and watch that. Okay, thank you very much. Back to the tutorial. So this is a tutorial on how to make a solid center Flowstar. This has been pattern tested. I do have a pattern. It is free. You can look down below for the free pattern. If you want to buy the pattern, I do have it up for sale, but that is entirely optional and up to you. And finally, before we get started and I go over the supplies and everything like that, I do just want to say I have a Patreon. You'll see at the end of this video, patrons' names in the credits. I post everything early on Patreon, so if you want a sneak peek at future tutorials or just a direct line to ask me questions about stuff, I have also dropped a link to my Patreon down below. Okay, let's get started. Supplies. Okay, so for this project, you're going to be working with, I will say, at least 2 colors of yarn. I am using 3 because it's the trans flag, and that makes me happy. But for parts of this pattern, you're going to be working with 2 strands of yarn, meaning like that. And for some parts, you're going to be working with 1 strand of yarn. This is Editor Bea from the future, just chiming in to say you can make this entire thing with 2 strands of yarn. I am not going to show you in this tutorial, but in the pattern itself, there are instructions for how to do that. It's a very easy and simple modification. Okay, back to the tutorial. I am using worsted weight yarn, which is this number 4 medium stuff. You do want it to be approximately the same size as what I'm showing here on the screen. If it is thinner, your Flowstar is going to be like not as heavy, and you do want it to have some weight in order to be able to flow with it properly. Also, I do have another pattern and tutorial that will be coming out that is currently in pattern testing, which is for a spiral center Flowstar. They flow a little bit differently. They have different weights. I think that the spiral center one is easier for a beginner to flow with, speaking as a beginner who is not very good at flowing, but I have used, or rather my friend who is really good at Flowstar, Maggie, has used all 3 types of crochet Flowstar with absolutely no problems. Oh, and final note before we begin, the initial Granny Square Flowstar pattern was posted on TikTok by Rattlesnake Raver. She is the one who inspired this whole thing. Please go give her a follow. She's great. Okay. I was talking about materials. I'm so sorry. So, okay. So you're going to need yarn, at least 2 colors, and you're going to be working single strand, double strand. So you want to have enough of it. I find that this uses up about half of one of these, skein, whatever. Use about half of one of these, half of each of these, or approximately 6 ounces of yarn total. You are also going to need a 6mm crochet hook. you're going to need either a plastic yarn needle or a very, very tiny hook for weaving in ends. I actually like to weave in my ends using this little tiny hook, but it's totally up to you. And you are probably going to want some stitch markers. These are actually earring backings that I use as stitch markers, but you're going to want stitch markers. And then for the very end of the project, when you do your pony bead edge, you're going to need a bunch of pony beads. I would say around 100 of them, depending on how you space them. And then, of course, you are also going to need scissors to cut your yarn. And then finally, last note before we begin, if you are an absolute beginner at crocheting, I recommend that you go look at some tutorials for how to do different stitches and then come back here. I'm not going to be teaching you like how to do a double crochet or a half double crochet. I'm just going to be showing you where to put these stitches. All right, let's begin. Round 1, you are going to start with 1 strand of yarn, make a slip knot, chain up 4. And then poke into that first stitch, just like that. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through for a slip stitch, and that made a little circle. There's a little opening in there. Chain up 2, 1, 2, or however you like to start a round of half double crochets. And you're going to add 7 more half double crochet into the middle of this circle. Yarn over, and I'm going to flip the tail kind of around the outside of the circle, just like that, so that when I go yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, okay, and yarn over, pull through 3. So what that did was the tail is now caught underneath the bottom of my stitch. So I'm going to do that 6 more times for a total of 8 half double crochet. And then when I am done, I can just pull the tail and it will tighten the circle. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then when we come back around to the beginning of the circle, we've got our 8 stitches in there. We're going to slip stitch into that top stitch from the chain 2. Just like that. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through for a slip stitch. And now we've got our little tail in the back here, and we just pull it, and that pulls the circle tight. Go team. At the end of this round, you should have 8 half double crochets into the circle and slip stitched together just like that. If you like doing a magic ring instead of chain 4 into a circle, you absolutely can. I am confused and scared of magic rings, so I don't. I also have heard that they will sometimes come loose after like vigorous use, and so I would worry about starting a Flowstar with one. Some of my pattern testers did use a magic ring to start theirs, but they're still playing with their Flowstars, so we don't know exactly how that is going. Anyway, that's round 1. Round 2, you're going to stay 1 strand of yarn. You can change colors if you want to. If you want to do like every layer is a different color, or every round is a different color, you absolutely can switch yarns here. You don't have to. What we are going to do now is chain 3, or if you prefer a stacked single crochet or a different method of starting a round of double crochet, you can absolutely do that. Either way, I'm doing a chain 3. So we chain 3, and then into that same space that we came out of, that same stitch we came out of, we're going to do a double crochet. So that's yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a double crochet. So we've got 2 double crochets coming out of the same stitch. You're going to repeat that all the way around. So into each half double crochet, you're going to put 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So when you finish this round, you will have 16 double crochets coming out of 8 half double crochets. Okay, remember earlier how I mentioned I would be skipping parts of every round? This is what I'm talking about. So this part, after I show you how to do it, all the way to the end of the round where I meet you back up, I am skipping from these videos. This is the only time you're going to see it in this. If you really, really, really need to see those parts, a longer director's cut version of this tutorial will be coming out hopefully soon with all of that stuff in there. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stitches. And we're going to connect it, finish the round by going through this top stitch, 1, 2, 3, the third from that first chain 3 that we did, just like that. And yarn over, pull through, and pull through for a slip stitch. And now that is round 2 done. You should have 16 double crochets. Now we're going to add our second strand of yarn to double the thickness. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch colors here, and I'm going to leave this hanging. I'm going to carry the yarn throughout. You can cut it off and tie if you prefer to do that, totally your call, but I'm going to switch over to pink for this round. And since I'm just using the one skein of yarn, what I'm actually going to do is take off the cover and use the center pull as well as the outer pull for a double strand. So round 3, we're switching to 2 strands of yarn, and I'm going to okay, what I'm actually going to do here is, instead of slip stitching with the blue, I'm going to add in the pink as the slip stitch, leaving enough tail to weave in later. Just like that. And then I'm going to chain. I'm going to use all 4 here to just secure it. 1, 2, and 3. So with our double strands of yarn, round 3 here, we chain 3, and then in that same stitch you just came out of, we're going to put a double crochet. That is, come on, 1 and 2. Okay, so now we have 2 double crochets coming out of that same stitch. And you're going to repeat that all the way around this round. 2 double crochets into the top of each double crochet stitch. 1, 2, and 1. 1, 2. We do that all the way around for a total of 32 double crochets. And you do want to keep your tension pretty loosey-goosey for this whole section, so you don't end up with your yarn curving up like a little bowl. I'm going to finish this round and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 stitches around the outside, and you're going to find that top stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go into that stitch just like that, and we're going to yarn over and pull through and pull through. Okay, so your center should be looking something like this. I will say I did make these stitches very, very loose for the purposes of demonstration. You can make them a little bit tighter so that you don't have see-through things happening. Okay, so that's the end of round 3. You should be at 32 stitches, 2 rows of single strand and 1 row of double strand. So now we are on round 4. You're going to stay at 2 strands, and this is the round where you are going to start building out the points of your star. So when we're done with this round, we're going to have 8 points. It's very important that you start with 32 stitches because otherwise the math will not math. So right now we are coming out of this stitch right here that was our chain 3 space. We're going to ignore this space and we are going to put a single crochet into the next one over. So that is this one here. We're going to pull through, single crochet. We're going to skip this next one, and in the next one over, we're going to put 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another 3 double crochets, all in the same space. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to skip the next stitch, so that is this one right here. It's going to be hidden a little bit under this little row of double crochets, but we're going to skip this stitch, and in the next one we are going to put a single crochet. And that is what you repeat all the way around. So skip 1, put 3 double crochet in the next. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3, and then skip the next one and single crochet in the next, and repeat. And you can see that's how we start getting the points of the star on there. I'm going to finish this round and I will meet you back here. Okay, so now we have an 8-pointed star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we are finishing the round, so you're going to find that first single crochet that you made, and you're just going to slip stitch right on in there. Boop. And that is the end of row 4, or round 4 rather. You should have, not including the chain 3 spaces, 56 stitches at the end of this row. And the reason I'm not including the chain 3 spaces is because I'm bad at math. So I'm so sorry. That is the sad state of affairs. But all of the single crochets plus the double crochets should be 56 stitches. All right, moving on to round 5, and I am once again going to change colors because I'm extra. But you are still going to be working with 2 strands on this round, and I'm going to switch it over to white. For this round, you are going to slip stitch over to, like, if you are not changing colors, what you would do is basically you are coming out of this stitch and you're going to slip stitch over 1 and 2 so that you are coming out of this middle double crochet, this one right here. But since I'm switching colors, I'm just going to put a little stitch marker in to keep my pink from falling out. Just like that. And I'm going to switch over to white for this round, and I'm just going to attach it directly into that middle double crochet. And again, since we are still working with 2 strands for round 5, I'm just going to grab both the outside strand and the inside strand of the white, put them together, and we're going to attach it. So we're going to attach it to this middle double crochet. Go in, boop, and yarn over, pull through to attach, and then 1, 2, 3 to start the round. We're doing more double crochets. Again, if you like starting a round of double crochet in a different way, you absolutely can do that. I will not stop you, but either way, you want to be coming out of this middle double crochet and do 3 and start with a double crochet. So now we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, just like that. And now you're right up on this chain 3 space. Into the chain 3 space, you're going to put 2 double crochet, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and another 2 double crochet. 1, 2, and then you're going to put a double crochet into the next 2 double crochet. So that's this one and this one. You might have to scoot your stitches aside to find this first stitch that is closest to the chain 3 space, but you want to make sure you're going through that stitch. 1, 2, and then the next one. 1, 2, and then we are going to skip the next 3 stitches. So that is this bottom double crochet, this single crochet, and the bottom double crochet on this side. We're skipping all 3 of those, and we're going to put a double crochet into the middle double crochet of the next point. 1, 2, and into the next one. 1, 2. Sorry, every time I do this, I am pulling more yarn out so that I can keep an even tension and not have this go all wiggly. So we are once again up on a chain 3 space, and so we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, just like we did on the last one. And we repeat this all the way around. So it is essentially 1 double crochet in the 2 double crochet closest to that chain 3 space, and then in the chain 3 space, 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and that keeps the points and the valleys shape. I'm going to finish this round and I will meet you back here. And now we are back at the beginning. And we should have 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3 to skip, and we just slip stitch into the top single crochet on, or the top chain, my bad, of that first chain 3 that we used to start the round. And I will be honest, this part always gives me a little bit of difficulty because I tend to make really tight chains that you have to kind of finagle your way into. Boop, just like that. That is round 5. This is approximately what you should be looking at when you are done with round 5. And not including the chain 3 spaces, you should have 64 stitches. For round 6, we are going to drop 1 strand. This section is going to be thinner, so you can either fasten off or carry the second strand throughout. I'm going to carry it, so here comes another stitch marker, and I'm just going to real quick determine. Okay, so this is my center pole strand. This is my center pole strand, so I want to keep working with this because it's just easier, which means I'm going to fasten off the second one with a little stitch marker. Boop, just like that. Okay, so for round 6, we are going back down to 1 strand. You are going to either tie 1 strand off or put in a stitch marker to hold it there for later, which is what I'm doing. And we are going to slip stitch 1 over so that we are coming out of this second stitch from the middle. There we go. Perfect. And now coming out of this middle stitch, we are going to chain 3 or start your round of double crochets, however you like to start your round of double crochets. But either way, we've got our starter stitch coming out of this second from the middle. And then into the next 2 stitches here, you're going to put 1 double crochet each. And then into the middle, you're going to put 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And another 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to put 1 double crochet into 1, 2, 3, the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip these middle 2 stitches, so skip 2, and then into the next 3 double crochets, put 1 double crochet each. 1, 2, 3, and now you're back at the chain 3 space where you're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And then continue the pattern. So essentially what you are doing is you are putting 1 double crochet into each double crochet all the way around, except for skipping these middle 2. And in the chain 3 spaces, you're putting 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and that is what makes the points and the valleys. Skipping these 2 pulls it in and makes a valley. Adding the 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet makes the points. I'm going to finish the round and I will meet you back here. All right, so now we are done with this round. We are back at the beginning, and we are going to make sure we're still skipping those 2 middle 2. We're going to slip stitch into that top stitch of our initial chain 3 round, my absolute arch nemesis that I am very bad at. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to cheat. We're going to use a smaller hook and haha. There we go. Oh, I think I forgot to give you the stitch count at the end of that last row. Actually, let me just make sure I do that. So for that round, which was round 6, your stitch count on this round, this first round of 1 strand, not including the chain 3 spaces, should be 80. So your Flowstar should be looking something like this, and you should have 80 stitches going all the way around. Okay, so if you are keeping this same color, the next round is going to be another round of only 1 stitch. Only 1 strand. So if you're keeping this same color, just slip stitch with that color. But I actually am going to be changing back to pink, and it's going to be a single strand round. So I'm going to carry this pink up on the back side and actually slip stitch the pink through to connect. Okay, so now it is close enough, high enough, whatever. We're gonna go back to this and go through that top stitch and grab the pink and pull the pink through. Boop. So now we've got our pink coming out of this center stitch, and we are going to stitch 1 over so that we are coming out of the next one. So we're not coming out of this center stitch, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and put 1 double crochet into every double crochet of the previous round. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then in that chain 3 space we are once again going to put 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and another 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet into all of these double crochet except for this last one in the middle. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 4, and 5, and then skip these 2 middle stitches and go into the next 1, 2, 3, whoops, 3, 4, and 5. And then in the chain 3 space, you're going to put 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and another 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. And you just repeat that all the way around until you get back to the beginning. All right, so we are at the end of the round here. This is round 7. You should have, not including the chain 3 spaces, 128 stitches, and we are going to slip stitch to connect the same way that we did before. But round 8 is back to 2 strands, so before I slip stitch to connect, I actually am going to carry my other strand of pink all the way up so that I can connect with both. I will be super real here. The reason that I am not showing you what I do to carry the strand up is because I think that I am doing it wrong and I don't want to teach you something badly. So instead, if you are not sure how to carry colors in crochet, I recommend looking up a YouTube tutorial. Thank you, goodbye. Perfect. Okay, so now we are coming out of this center stitch. And for round 8, we are using 2 strands. We're going to slip stitch over 1, 2 spaces. If you're changing colors, just start with this space. But if you are not, we'll go 1 and 2. Sorry. 1 and 2. There we go. Okay, so for this round, we are using 2 strands. We are also going to be skipping the center 4 stitches, not just the center 2. This is the change for this round. So we are otherwise going to do the same thing. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, or however you want to start your round of double crochets, and then double crochet into the next. How many things is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So the next 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then into this chain 3 space, we're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, chain 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and then you're going to double crochet into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to skip 2 and another 2, so these center 4 here, you're going to skip, and into this next one right here, you're going to put your next double crochet, and it's going to be 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, whoop, hang on, 4, oh my god, 5, and 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I miss? I've skipped something. What have I skipped? Please hold. Okay. I fucked up. I fucked up at the beginning of the last row. At the beginning of row 7, I believe. I wrote a pattern. I'm following the pattern as I go. Yeah, so for round 7, when I started this round, I missed a stitch. Round 7 is supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the corner. I started it with 4. I'm going to leave it, partially because, fuck it, we go with God. Partially because there's that old superstition about leaving your mess ups in when you're doing fibercraft, so that, like, your soul doesn't get trapped in your project. And boy howdy, there's a lot of holes in this project for my soul to escape through. And partially because it's hot and I'm tired and I don't want to frog a whole row. So I'll put like a little warning at the beginning of that part of the tutorial that I messed this part up. But it shouldn't matter too much. Should not be too terrible. I think what I'm actually going to do is I will frog this part since I just started it, and I will just put an extra double crochet in here, so that the future counts are not totally wacky. There. So I do have 2 double crochet into this 1 double crochet because I'm fixing my mess up from a previous row. That's fine. It shouldn't matter too much. Handy dandy little tip. If you mess up your count in one spot, you can just fudge it. You can pretend that you didn't. Okay, so this is essentially the pattern that you use to make the Flowstar as big as you want it. I like doing 2 rows of 1 single strand, 2 rows of 1 double strand. So sorry, 2 rows of 1 single strand, 2 rows of 1 double strand, and then every, I would say 3 to 4 rows, you're going to skip 4 in the middle instead of 2. That is basically to prevent it from getting all bunched up and funky looking. Because as you make it bigger, it is going to want to warp. So for this row, this round, which is round 8, we are skipping 4 in the middle instead of 2. But the pattern that you repeat is essentially when you are using a single strand, you put 3 double crochet in the center, and when you are using a double strand, you put 2 double crochet in the center. We are currently on round 8 using a double strand, and so we are, well, I guess technically we're putting 4, not 2, but you get the idea. And then you just repeat that. So round 8, you just repeat that all the way around. 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the corners, and then when you get to the valleys, the little midpoints in between the points, you're going to skip 4 stitches, and now we're about back to where I was, just like that. Oh no, I went into the wrong stitch. Haha. Crochet is great, except when you're like me and math is a nightmare, and you know, I just have to come to terms with frogging a bunch. So anyway, this is how it's going. I'm gonna finish this round and come back. Okay, so your Flowstar should be looking something like this. We have finished this row, which is round. I keep saying row because I'm used to talking about candy. So for round 8, we are about to be done. We are gonna slip stitch into the top of that first chain 3 space to finish. Boop. And boop. Okay, so we are slip stitched, and I'm going to be changing colors again, so I'm going to put a little stitch marker on this guy. Boop. And at the end of this round, you should have, not counting the chain 3 spaces, 128 stitches. And we are now getting to a point where it is too big to show easily on camera on my little pull-out desk thing, so forgive. Round 9, we are going to stay at 2 strands, but I'm going to switch back to this blue color. And I think rather than try to pull this all the way up. I am just going to cut this one. Boop. We will securely fasten that off later when we are weaving in our ends. And for round 9, if you are staying with this same color, you're just going to slip stitch over one space, so you're coming out of this second double crochet from the middle. But since I am attaching my color newly, I am just going to attach it in that space directly. So, here, let me zoom back in, hang on. Okay, so I've got my 2 strands, and I'm going into this second space. Come on. There we go. Like that. We're gonna grab you, pull through, and just like that. And then dropping the ends 1, 2, 3 to start this round. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we are double crocheting into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next 6 spaces, so including that chain 3, it's 7 double crochets, and then into the chain 3 space, we're going to place 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we are going to put 1 double crochet in the next 7 stitches, which should bring us up to right up to the middle, but not on the middle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and 7. Okay, and now we're going to skip these middle 2 stitches and go into the next, and should be 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Up to the next chain 3 space, and then we do 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet. You get the idea. We do this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Okay, so we are here at the end of round 9, and we are going to slip stitch into that top 1, 2, 3, that top of our chain 3 in order to finish the round. There we go. Pull through, pull through. Ta-da. Okay, perfect. And let me zoom out here so you can kind of see this a little bit better. This is where we are at on the star. Let me actually do like that so you can see a little bit better. Ta-da! That's the end of round 9. And for the end of round 9, you should be at 144 stitches, not including the chain 3 spaces, so just your double crochets. You should have 144 of them. And now we're going to go on to round 10. This is essentially the repeating pattern that you do. So for single strand rounds, you repeat what you did for round 6. For any double strand rounds, you repeat what you did for round 9. When you have a double strand, you increase by 4 in the corners. When you have a single strand, you increase by 3 in the corners. And every so often, I would say every like 3 to 4 rows, put in a larger skip space in here where you skip 4 instead of 2, and that stops it from bunching up. So I have found that 13 rounds of this total tends to put it at about the right size for a Flowstar. You could go a couple more rounds, and then round 14 is going to be the finishing round. I will show you those things, but I need to take a break for lunch, and also I can feel little zappies happening in my forearm. So I will be back, but the lighting might be different when I am. All right, so we are here. We're about to start row 10, or round 10 rather, and we are going to be going back down to 1 strand instead of 2. So stitch marker 1 strand and grab the other one. Going to just pull these down a little bit. Okay, perfect. And the reason for that is that I'm going to do another row in this same blue color. If you want to switch colors at this point, you can just switch colors and fasten on at the second double crochet from the center. But since I'm sticking with this color, we are going to slip stitch over 1 and then chain up 3. Whoop, 1, 2, 3, and then put a double crochet into every single double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, whoop, 4, come on, there we go, 5, 6, 7, and then in this chain 3 space we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And then in the next 8, so next 8 double crochets, we're going to put a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, and 8. Come on. My hands are clumsy today. I just woke up. There we go. Okay, and then we'll skip the middle 2 and put another 8 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come on, there we go, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then we are back at a chain 3 space. So you just repeat that all the way around, 8 double crochets, skip the middle 2, 3, chain 3, 3 in the corners until you get all the way back around to the beginning. All right, so we are at the end of row 10, and just like usual, we're going to slip stitch to connect that top stitch on the first chain 3, which, as we all know by now, my arch nemesis, myself at the beginning of the round for making this dang thing so tight. Come on. There we go. Yeah, you want to stick your hook through those top 2 loops. There's a loop on the bottom. Pull through and pull through. Brilliant. Okay, so this, let me zoom out, hang on. This is approximately what your star should be looking like at this point. We are at the end of round 10, which means not including the chain 3 spaces, you should have 176 stitches, so that is 176 double crochets. For this next round, we are going to stay at 1 strand. We're going on to round 11, and I'm going to switch back to this pink color. I'm also going to zoom back in. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Whoop. Okay, I'm going to switch back to this pink color. This is going to be the same thing. We're going to end up coming out of this second double crochet from the center. So if you're changing colors, you can just tie off and fasten there. If you're keeping the same color, just slip stitch over to this one. As for me, I'm going to carry the yarn up. So now I'm going to take you. We are coming out of that middle one. I'm going to slip stitch over one, and then instead of grabbing the blue, I'm going to grab the pink. And I'm going to pull the pink through both. There we go. And I'm going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Is a little bit ugly, is okay. Anything to not have to weave in more ends. So, for round 11, coming out of this second stitch from the middle, chained up 3, and we're going to double crochet into every double crochet. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and since this is a single strand row, we're going to put 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3 right into that chain 3 space, and then we'll chain 3 and another 3 double crochet right in that same chain 3 space. 2, 3, and then put a double crochet into every double crochet up to the middle, skipping over those middle 2, so it's going to be, should be 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then skip these middle 2 and going into the second from the middle with another double crochet. We put a double crochet into these next 10 stitches, which should put us right up to that chain 3 space. And when you get to the chain 3 space, you're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet right in that chain 3 space. Just like we have been doing, you're going to repeat that all the way around the outside of the round for round 11. And I will meet you back here. So we are back at the beginning. We are going to slip stitch into that top of the chain 3 in order to finish the round. Oh please, oh please. Nope. Not even playing this time. There we go. Hey. There we go. Perfect. And let me zoom out a little bit. So this is approximately, okay. This is approximately what your Flowstar should be looking like now at the end of round 11. You should have not including the chain 3 spaces, 208 stitches, so that's 208 double crochets all the way around the outside. And we are going to go on to round 12. For round 12, we are switching back to 2 strands. Oh, my hand looks real weird like that. Let me get the camera situated. There we go. Okay, and we're going back to 2 strands. I'm going to do another round with this pink, but that does mean I need to carry this second strand all the way back up. And if you want to switch colors at this point, if you want to use a different color, if you want to just tie off and tie back on, that is totally fine. Good enough for rock and roll. And I'm going to, since it's the same color and everything, I'm actually going to, yeah. Okay, right now we are coming out of this center, one of these 2 center posts, that first double crochet. We're going to slip stitch over one, and we are going to grab both of the pinks. So both this pink strand that I've been working with and the pink loop that I've pulled up from below, and pull them both through and pull them both through. And now we have 2 strings coming out, 2 strands rather, coming out of this second double crochet from the center, and we are going to chain up 3. So that is 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to double crochet into all of these double crochets. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then since we are working with 2 strands, we are going to put 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, all into that chain 3 space. So that was my first double crochet in there. Here's the second one. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and another 2 double crochets. So that is 1 and 2. Whoop. I don't think I grabbed both strands there. Let me try that again. 2, there we go, and then 12 double crochets, 1 in each double crochet leading down. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, and then we're going to skip these center 2 stitches and double crochet into the next one. We're going to do 12 double crochets, 2, whoop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you just repeat that all the way around, putting 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets into the chain 3 spaces, and then 1 double crochet in the 12 surrounding double crochets. Hang on, that was 1, 2, I need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, leaving the 2 in the center of the valley empty. And you just repeat it all the way around till you finish the round, and I'll be right back. All right, so we are back here at the beginning. We've got our middle 2 skipped, and we are going to go into that top chain right here. There we go, and slip stitch. Yay, slip stitch to finish the round. We are done. All right. Stitch marker so it doesn't come undone while we do this next bit, which is where I decide if I want to weave in the ends of the white or pull them all the way up. So, oh, so sorry. Let me finish doing the shtick for this round. Okay, so that is the end of round 12. At the end of this round, you should have 224 double crochets, not including the chain 3 spaces. And let me zoom out for you so you can see approximately what your Flowstar should be looking like. It is large. It is big. But this is where we are at currently. And your stitch count at the end of this round, not including the chain 3 spaces, should be 224 double crochets. Okay, back to the tutorial. We're going to tie off, and I will weave in these ends later. Ding dang it. Hate weaving in ends. Bleh. But it's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. I don't know if you can tell, but I have no formal training in crochet. This is, I learned from YouTube and a couple of long-distance friends who are very kind and sweet to me. Okay, yes, next round. So round 13, we are staying at 2 strands, but I am switching over to white, which means I'm going to, okay, pause while I detangle. All right, I've got my 2 ends here. I'm gonna take out the stitch marker and I'm gonna slip stitch over 1 and pull the white through like that. And now I have the white coming out of, sorry, just grabbing the long ends so I don't end up working with the tails by accident. I'm gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3 to start the round, and then you can probably guess I'm going to put 1 double crochet in all of these double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to be, including this first chain 3, it is 13 spaces that you double crochet into, and then in the chain 3 space, 2 double crochet, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochet, 1, 2. Okay, and now we are coming down the other side of the point. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next 13 stitches. So that is 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Skip these middle two and then go into the next 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then you're back up to the chain 3 space. So you repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. And we are back here at the beginning, and we are going to slip stitch into that top of the chain 3, which is, I can already tell, going to be too tight. So I'm going to switch over to my little hook and cheat. Doop. Come on. Hell yeah. Okay. There we go. And we slip stitch together. Perfect. Bellissimo. All right, we are at the end of the round, which is the end of round 13. You should have, not including the chain 3 spaces, 240 stitches. So that's 240 double crochets around the outside. And let me just zoom out. Whoa. Okay. We are large. We are big. Let me actually, so this is the final round. If you want to make it bigger, you absolutely can. You just repeat the same alternating single strand and double strand until it's as big as you want it. This is a little bit smaller than a regular Flowstar. Let me grab my tape measure. Hang on a sec. Approximately, and this is without any blocking or anything, should be about like 23-ish inches across from corner to corner, give or take a little bit, because like I said, this is not blocked. And now if you want to go on to the final round, round 14, this is how I finish the Flowstars. Again, if you want to make it bigger, you just keep going. But round 14, let me get the camera all positioned again. And I will say, since this is the final round, I know I'm not going to be doing any more with the blue or the pink. I am going to leave long tails and just cut them off. Less tangles to worry about. I'll deal with you when I'm sewing in ends. Blech. Disgusting. All right. So what we're going to do is, if you do not want to add pony beads to the edge of your Flowstar, that is totally fine. You're just going to put 1 half double crochet in every single stitch, including this one that you're coming out of. You'll chain up 2, and then 5 half double crochets in the corners, just to show you essentially what this will look like. 1, 2, we chain up 2 for a half double crochet, and just boop, half double crochet into every single stitch. Now I'm going to undo this because I am going to add beads. I have found that adding beads to the edge helps tremendously with the weight and balance, and I do have a tutorial which is just how to add beads to edges. You can find it here, but I will show you kind of the start of how I'm going to do this. Okay, so Warning up top, I'm really bad at math, and this part I'm just winging it on the spacing. So if you want to space your beads differently than I do, that is totally fine. There is nothing wrong with that. For me, I'm going to do, so I just chained up 2 coming out of that middle stitch there. And I'm going to do 1 half double crochet, 1, 2, and 1 more. 1, 1, that is a double crochet. I just did double crochets. Haha, come on brain, get it together. So we'll do 1, come on. There we go. And 1 more. There we go, okay. And then we're gonna take a bead, put it on our little hook. This is a 2.25 millimeter hook, and slide it onto that loop. And then 1, 2, 3, and again on that third one we're going to pull the loop up. We're going to grab a bead. We're going to slide the bead on, and 1, 2, 3, and on that third one we'll do another bead, just like that. 1, 2, 3, and another bead. One, 2, 3, and another bead. And then into the corner here, so this last bead should be on your last double crochet up right before the chain 3 space. You're going to go 1, 2 half double crochets, and you're going to add it on the second half double crochet in the corner. And then 1, 2, just like that. So that way it sits basically directly in the middle of that point. And your third one is going to be 3 straight into that next stitch. And you're going to pull it up, and you're going to grab a bead, put a bead on here, and then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, pull a loop up, grab a bead, one, one moment. My yarn is tangled in my mic cord. There we go. Okay. 2 and 3. Pull that loop up. One, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. So you've just added this bead here, and now when you get to the valley, you're actually going to go 5. So 1, 2, 3, And now you add a bead. I'm going to do the same blue. And 1, 2, 3, add a bead. One, 2, 3, pull that loop up and add a bead. One, 2, 3, pull that loop up and add a bead. One, 2, 3, pull that loop up and add a bead. And this should put you right up on that chain 3 space. So just like before, we're going to do 2 half double crochets, add a bead. This is the only place where we do 2. And then we do 2 more, 1, 2 into that chain 3 space, and our third one goes into the first stitch of the next side of the triangle, and we add a bead. You can absolutely do a different bead placement. I have found that placing the beads between 2 and 4 stitches apart tends to be the best weight distribution. Just however you do it, try to space it as evenly as you can, because again, this is a flow toy. It's all about like balance, right? And I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of this round, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, after all of that, we are back at the beginning, or we are about to be rather. I've got 2 more stitches to make, so that is 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to connect with a slip stitch to that top stitch of the 2. Here, the glare, this one right here. Just like that. Come on. There we go. Okay, and we slip stitch to connect. Yay! All right, so now I've got to, let's see. Looks like I just have this blue one and then this one here. So I know that there are better ways to do this. I would have to look them up, and I'm lazy, so I'm just going to do 1 more stitch and then snip. Okay, and I will weave in these ends. There we go. Like I said, I'm going to still have to weave in the ends, but at the end of this round, you should have, let me see, I've had these all written down somewhere. Okay, so for round 14, once you are finished, you should have, oh God, I didn't write this down. I have to do math. Hang on. If you added beads and you put 4 stitches in each corner, you should have 264 stitches. If you did not add beads and instead you put 5 stitches in each corner, you should have 280 stitches. If you went on beyond round 13 and made this Flowstar larger, your stitch count is going to be different, obviously, but that is where we're at. And then for beads, if you space the beads the way that I space them here, I'm gonna have to count them, hang on. If you space the beads the way that I spaced them here, you will have used a total of 88 beads. Now, granted, you could definitely space them more closely together and use up more beads, but that is what I used here. Let me zoom out and show you what we're looking like, what we're working with. Oh my God, okay, I'm gonna have to zoom out even further. Ta-da! Here's where we're at. It does still need to be blocked. It is going to be like a little bit wavy, a little bit lumpy. That's totally fine. That's very normal. And then of course, I have to weave in the ends. Let me bring you back in for that part. So weaving in the ends, I will say, every time I watched a tutorial and it goes, now weave in the ends, it doesn't show you how to weave in the ends. And so I was never taught by anybody specifically. I looked up a bunch of crochet forums and various tutorials and methods, and it seems like everybody kind of does it differently. So I'm not going to show you me weaving in all of the ends because that's very boring, but I will show you some. So when the string is long enough, let's take this one. This one is pretty long. When it's long enough to use a needle, I just use the same yarn needles that I use for making candy and grip that like that so that it doesn't come out. It is already tied in a knot, it looks like, with this guy, but I just pulled and there was some slack, so I'm going to knot it one more time so that it doesn't do that. Okay, and then we're just going to take this. I like to try and stay within the same color so that it's not super obvious when you're working with like multiple different colors. And let's see if I can show you just kind of go through like as many stitches as you can, still like trying to stay working on the back side of your work so that your yarn does not show on the front. Uh-oh, what did I do here? What have I done? Oh, that's what I did, okay. And then once you've done that a bit, we're going to just bring it back the opposite direction, like so. And once we've done that a bunch, just pull a little bit and cut off the end. Now, if you're working with a shorter strand that is, let's say this one, right? If I string it onto my needle, there's not like a whole lot of room to play with. It's going to get difficult to work with really fast. So I actually switch back to my little mini hook and poke it through a few different strands like that and just grab the yarn and pull it through. In this case, I'm pulling it all the way around the circle to that's that opening starting circle that we made, to tighten it up and make sure that it doesn't unravel or come loose while you're playing with it. And then once I get back around to the beginning, there we go. Once I get back around to the beginning, I'm actually going to run this up a little bit. And I'm going to run this guy, this other string, I'm going to run this down a little bit. And this is something, if you're used to candy making, you're used to following the direction of the string. And I do that when I weave in the ends as well, so it doesn't look super obvious. And I'm going to tie this off just to keep this ring securely tight. This one I'm going to run through. So after the knot, I'm going to run it back through just a little bit to hide it. There we go. And I'm going to cut this one off. Boop. All right. I have a bunch more ends to weave in. My least favorite part of this process. I'm going to do that and I'm going to come back. Okay, so this is what we are looking like at the end. I will show you the seam here where I carried the ends up is a little bit ugly, but that's fine. And yeah, it's a Flowstar. Ta-da! I am not super good at flowing, but here is my best attempt to show you how it flows. And like, if I, as a baby, beginner, novice, bad Flowstar person, can do this much with it, I assure you, people who actually know what they're doing can do a lot cooler things. If you would like the written pattern that goes along with this tutorial, you can find it in the link below. I have it both as a free pattern and a paid pattern because I know sometimes people who can afford to do so prefer to pay for their patterns. Either way is totally fine with me. I just ask that you make a little note that you used my pattern. If you go on to sell these or do other things with them, totally fine. Share it with your friends. Have fun. This is like a community resource. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful. Like I said at the beginning, there is a director's cut that will be coming out that is like 3 hours long that includes all of the footage that I cut out of this one. But that one was going to take me a long time to make, so I wanted to just get this one released and go from there. I do also have a swirly center Flowstar pattern that I will be releasing. It's currently being pattern tested. I want to make sure that it totally works before I drop a whole tutorial about it and a pattern and everything like that. But if you would like to stay up to date on these patterns and future candy projects and all the stuff that I'm doing, I do have a Patreon where I post everything first before it comes here to YouTube. So if you would like to support what I am doing and be in the know before everybody else, please go check out my Patreon. You will see my amazing patrons' names scrolling up on the screen right now. That is one of the perks. If you are a paid member, you get in the credits. Also, you get my undying love. I'm easy. Thank you for watching, and I am gonna go take a nap. Plur.